True underdog. Unleash the power within.
Building a movement, baby.
True underdog. Unleash the power within.
Jayson Waller here, True Underdog, Unleash the Power Within. Super excited about today's COVID live podcast and YouTube channel. I've got my business partner and good friend here, Ben Brookhart, CSO of POWERHOME Solar. We've had him on before with a episode called Ego, and we thought we would get together today and share some ideas of not only being an entrepreneur, but being in sales, how to overcome some things, maybe a pitch, how to utilize your time correctly. How you doing, Ben?
Doing great, man. Always excited to be here with you, Mr. Jayson Waller, also known as the Solar Savior. That's him right here, man.
That's right.
Podcast is going well, right?
It's going fantastic. Yeah, I think we've got almost 20,000 downloads. I don't know how many subscribers. And the YouTube's new, almost 1,000 subscribers there. So going well.
That's awesome, man. I love the podcast. It gives everybody an opportunity to hear so many different stories, and most importantly, things that can help you be more successful in whatever industry you're in, whether you're a sales rep or whether you're some type of other professional. It gives you opportunities to hear stories and how they may relate to what you're doing in everyday life.
And you're right. And a lot of the folks that tell those dark underdog stories that we've had on, sometimes we like to just have positive talk, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes we want to get into what happens when you get to the top and how do you get to the top. We've shared several people's stories from sexual abuse to, losing family members and all these ways of overcoming adversity. But, recently we did a CEO entrepreneur roundtable and I loved it. And I was like, dude, who other than to bring Ben on, bounce ideas off each other, share with our viewers and listeners, and possibly a lot of our team here at POWERHOME. I mean, we're 1,000 strong right now. How about that, right?
Man, it's crazy. We're breaking records every single week that have been held for 5.5 years. Yeah. How is that happening? Well, to me, it's all about the people. Number one is you gotta have the right people around you. Yeah. You gotta have a product, and you gotta be in the right industry. And all of those things have lined up for us at POWERHOME Solar. And it's not coincidence we're doing what we're doing because we have an amazing team of people and we're all laser focused. But here's the thing is, look, if you have a business and you're asking, what's the magic formula to get to the next level? Or if you're a sales rep and you're thinking, man, how can I get to the top? Obviously, it's important to have goals, but for me, the things that have always helped me, and I know we've talked about this together, is having people that you're accountable to and helping people be accountable for what they're doing. And when you say the word accountability, some people think, oh, that's like micromanagement. And really, it's not. If you want to get to the next level, chances are you're not going to get there by yourself.
No.
You've got to have somebody that is either there pushing or sometimes polling to help get you. They're always inspecting kind of behind you just to make sure that you're getting the expectations that they have. And
you're on the right path, right? Yeah. And a lot of people, whether you're in sales, you own a business, whatever it is you're doing, they think there's an elevator, right? I talk about that all the time. They hit a button, they wake up and they're successful. It doesn't work that way, right? You gotta take each stair to learn, to grow, to fail, to learn, to grow, to gain strength and overcome adversity and adapt. I mean, all of these layers you have to keep going through, and it just repeats itself. It's get a win, go again. Get a win, fail, learn, go again. Get a win, and that's the whole recipe is when you're laying something out and you're setting your goals and you want to be accountable, you also don't want to think that there's a fast, easy way, because there's not.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times do people think or get frustrated when they want to do something, but it didn't happen overnight, and they become impatient, and rather than them fail and try to learn from that, they quit or they walk away. It happens all the time.
I mean, if you think back in your own life, and I think about my experiences, the wins that I got right away were things that usually didn't last, and they certainly were not as meaningful as the things that I had to make sacrifices for. I had to make changes. Like, it was hard to get to that level. But when you look back, you can celebrate all of those steps that you took. And what the best part about reaching a level of success that is, at a high level is when you can do it with other people with you, and you get to help them get to that next level. And like, we've had businesses, and we're in this business, and we have all of these reps, and you see them buying a new house.
You get chill bumps when you hear about it,
or
right?
like they're getting married, or they're having a like they feel comfortable and confident about where they are, that they're starting to make some life-changing decisions.
Yeah.
Man, you get jacked up about that, and you want to elevate your whole team, and it can't just be about me, it can't just be about you, it's got to be about them. And if you can stay invested in your people, then the opportunity is just going to be endless for the organization.
I think you're exactly right. And I think that for the listeners and followers out there that are tempted to take that risk, and like you just said, the things that came easy didn't last. You didn't appreciate them as much. But those things that were hard, that you had to pick yourself up when it was dark and it was tough, and you're like, I've got to get this done. You appreciate it, you value it. And I think that for those listeners out there, if they're thinking of something right now in today's pandemic, in everything going on, there's an opportunity out there. It's unfortunate what we're going through, but there is an opportunity in time for people to sit here and strategize, to create goals, to create a plan. What am I going to do when life becomes semi-normal? What is my next step? Am I going to apply for that job? Am I going to open a business? What am I going to do? And I always challenge people, like, when an unfortunate event happens, you have to learn from it, but then you have to find an opportunity out of it. What can I gain from this unfortunate situation? How can I capitalize myself into the future? Because we did as executives.
Yeah.
We sat down every day, every hour with attorneys, CDC, the healthcare for each state, trying to figure out, do we stay open? What do we do? How do we get through this? And it's allowed us to really inspect and hold each other accountable for what we're responsible for, and to elevate our team, right?
Yeah, and look, adversity brings opportunity. And if you have that outlook to find when things are crazy like they are right now, and there's a lot of uncertainty still in this world, like every day, we're really not sure what may be happening the next day or the next week or month. And sometimes it's hard to plan that way, but you just got to believe in what you're doing and what your cause is, and you got to go after it 100%, because now is the time that if you are looking for opportunity, they're talking about 20% unemployment.
It's crazy.
And for those people that have lost their jobs, like, look, I hurt for you to know that you had a career and it was gone. We have several of our employees that their spouses lost jobs, like good salary jobs, working for big companies, and it's gone. So now people are sitting at home and they've got bills and they've got families, and they're thinking about, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
And my words of encouragement for you is, what are you passionate about? What is the one thing you've always wanted to do, but you had something else so you never did it? Mm-hmm. Like, start focusing on the things that you just get excited about, and take a risk now when the opportunity is there for you to make a move. And I promise you, it can be life-changing for you.
That's very well said. Think about that. We always make excuses. I can't do that right now. I'm tied to this job, or there's never a good time.
Yeah.
But now, in your situation, whatever it is, now is the time. And it doesn't have to be open a business. I mean, if that's what you want to do and you're passionate, do it. Take that opportunity, make that risk. Scared money don't make money. You got to be able to invest in yourself and what you believe in. But even if you're applying for a job that, man, I would have loved to take that job, but I'm kind of stuck here, and it's convenient and it's comfortable. Now everyone's uncomfortable. Everybody's in this together. It's not a you or me or a you thing. It's an everybody thing. So while you're uncomfortable, you might as well take a leap of faith and say, you know what, I want that kind of job. I want to change this and be happier when this comes back. And that's what, all of us have to really tune into. Even if we've got jobs, we try to make our job better. We try to make it, we try to grind and set our goals and really excel as much as we can, as not only individuals, but as a team. And I think we struggle with that when we're just too busy every day making excuses. And it's unfortunate, but it takes events like this or something catastrophic to ground us and make us go, what can I do better? How do I take this to the next level? And I think that this is a time for everybody out there to do that. We've seen it with our employees. We've seen it with ourselves. We've seen it even with our family. I mean, my wife, she didn't like to cook a lot before. She's cooking all the time now.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm going to make some meals, right? So, but she's testing the waters out there and downloading different things and trying to, everybody's taking that time to do something a little different because everybody's going nuts at home. And, we're semi-practicing social distancing here, but, shame on us. Yeah. However, it's just us here at the office.
I checked his temperature before the podcast.
Scanning it, popping it on you. 99.5 and below, you're good. Yeah. The other thing I really want to talk about is we both come from sales, outside sales. I've done some phone sales after that.
Door to door, baby.
Door to door, knocking on a door and grinding, like hunting, hunters, right? You've got farmers and you've got hunters. And I think for a lot of folks out there that are in sales, that are struggling, there's a few rules to the game. Some of the things that I think that are very important or that I look for in a salesperson, A, is confidence.
Yep.
Right? You've got to be confident if you're going to do sales. You cannot be insecure or lack of confidence going into an appointment, a meeting, knocking on a door, because they're going to eat you up. Right? People buy from people that are confident and happy. They get excited about whatever you're excited about. They don't want to meet somebody that's unsure of something. They're not going to buy that something because you're unsure. So I think confidence is one of the most important things. What other things do you think are important?
Look, I think attitude is one of those things that you have to have a positive attitude. We're specifically talking about sales here.
Right.
If you don't have a positive attitude, the deck's stacked against you, man, because the world of sales is all about the word no.
That's right.
You're going to hear no more times than you're going to hear yes. 23 years of my life I spent in the home security business teaching people how to knock on doors.
Thousands of no's.
Thousands of no's.
Get
knocking on the door, trying to sell them
away.
a home security system, right? So in your mind, you have to start playing some games with yourself to not make a no a negative thing. And one of the things that I learned early in my career, and this was taught to me by a mentor of mine, Greg Stokes, if you're listening there, Greg.
Shout out to Greg, baby.
Old school, baby. Is he said, Ben, you got to figure out how many door knocks it takes to get to a yes. And that's what you got to call your number. It's kind of like the sleep number bed. Everybody's got a number, right? Well, in sales, you've got to figure out how many rejections does it take to get to the yes. Right. And what's the dollar amount when I get to the yes? And you take the dollar amount that when I make that sale, if I make $500 per sale, for example, easy math, and it took me 5 no's to get there, then it's $100 for every door I knock on. Yeah. I'm getting paid. I hear no, thank you very much, $100.
Gotta be
Go to the next one. Thank you very much, $100. Because I know I'm gonna get to the 5th one and I'm gonna get paid. So you gotta do some reverse psychology. So attitude, to me, I agree with you 100%. Confidence, you've got to have that. Yeah. And there's a difference between being arrogant or being cocky and being confident. Yeah. Very important.
Passion, right? Passion and believing, having a why, believing in the product. It's really hard for you to sell anything that you don't believe in. I think it's a waste of time to even, if you take a job and you don't believe in the product, you're wasting your time because you're not going to be successful. You need to believe in what the product stands for and what the company stands for, because that kind of energy, it shows in front of a consumer. They can feel it. They can feel it's genuine. They can feel that you're behind it, and that's part of your why. And people usually buy on emotion. They get excited. I don't know what it is you're selling, but I want some of it. This sounds fun, right? They feed off of that rather than, well, I don't know if I would get this product. Like, you have to be behind what you're selling, or there's a lot of uncertainty there when you get into the home, and they can sense that because they're taking time out of their day to talk to you. You better bring your A game and be ready and be behind it.
Yeah. And depending on what you're selling, you got to have a follow-up game, okay? Because most of the time, we're all after the one-call close. When we're knocking on doors trying to sell alarm, it was try to get that deal. When we're out here meeting with people to put solar on their home and allow them to own their power, we want to get them to sign up the day that we're there. But if you can't get them to sign up, you have to have a follow-up game, and you got to be super strong in your follow-up. You got to have that in sales.
What tips would you tell people? If someone says, if I'm a customer and I'm like, Ben, I can't do it right now. I've got to take my daughter to softball. I've got to go, right? What are some tips that you can tell some of the listeners and viewers out there to do when they're in a home or in a sales call to be able to follow up? What tips can you give them?
Well, so two different things, what you just said. If someone's trying to leave and you're still trying to get the sale, then you can pull out that last incentive that you have. Like, look, Jayson, I know you're busy, but there is an opportunity I just want to share this one last thing with you, that if we can do this, I can do that.
Right.
And you give them that last discount. But let's just say they're busy and sometimes you just can't overcome that. One of the most effective ways that I follow up is this thing right here is so powerful. When I would leave Jayson's house and I didn't get that sale, I'd pull out my phone, I record a video. Hey, Mr. Waller, it was great talking to you. It was great meeting you. I'm super excited to give you the opportunity to own your own power, and I'm looking forward to following back up with you on Friday. If anything comes up in the meantime where I've got some more information I'm going to give to you, I'll reach back out to you, but have a great day. Bam! Send the video. They've never gotten anything like that. No. Now you've shown them that you really care. Video is a great follow-up tool, and it's something that separated me and what I've always taught our sales reps to do from the competition. Because normally it's walk away, here's my business card, throw it in the trash, it's done, care. And they forgot about you. But that video, and then you can follow up with them during the week. Like, something is on the news related to your business. Shoot another video. Hey, Jayson, it's Ben again. I was thinking about you. I saw this on TV. Maybe it's something about a sporting event that he liked that I picked up during the sale. And again, looking forward to talking to you on Friday. Again, I'm not trying to sell him anything. I'm just letting him know that I care enough about his business to gain that business.
You know, not only did you get my number by sending that video, but you were looking at information that you can save in your phone. So if you see a sporting event or something I like, you can do that. So even in the notes section or the contact section, you could be like, Mr. Waller likes the Lions, this, and I'm going to follow up with them. You can save that. You can even label the contact -prospect and put a city by there. So when you're back in that area, you can shoot a text and say, hey, I'm in the area. Can I come see you today? When you get back into that area. I think in today's world with the technology we've got, you're right. We need to find a way to make that such a tool that following up is easy, because the competition, whatever you're doing, they're not doing that. They're keeping it simple. Here's my card.
Yeah, and here's a little nugget for you. You know, we're super successful here at Power Home Solar. And if you are looking for a career opportunity, we love to talk to you, give you a life-changing opportunity. But what we use here, you know, we don't really like to share all of our stuff, but look, we want to try to give back to the listeners here on the podcast. We use a company called RepCard. Awesome tool. We don't use business cards here at Power Home Solar. You know why? People just throw them away. We send them an electronic card that we can store all of their information, and we can also add in notes with Sales Rabbit, which is our CRM program that we use for our sales team. So RepCard, Sales Rabbit, great tools to use if you are in sales field.
So, and thank you. I think it's important that business owners out there, whether you're in the business or not, we've had a competitor on on the podcast recently. So there is enough customers out there that want to be a part of the movement, that want to go solar. So we embrace that. There are no secrets here, like you said. Let me ask you this. People keep telling you no, you get down. What if it takes a few more doors? What if you're struggling and everyone around you is telling you this isn't the job, but you believe in it? You're like, I know I can do this. I have faith. I believe in the product. But you're in that rut. You go home, you got your girlfriend or your boyfriend or your wife giving you a hard time. Why are you on this commission-only job? What are you doing? What advice or tips could you tell those folks that are right there at the cusp of almost losing it? Like, should I walk away? Should I not? What would you say?
Man, I would reflect back on my own experience and exactly the things that you were saying when I first got started, straight out of college. And I took a job door to door selling home security systems. And I was in a place that I didn't know anybody except for my cousin. And he kept saying, man, what are you doing? Like, it's door to door. You're never going to succeed at that. The first 2 weeks I went out there and I didn't have hardly any success at all. Here I am, a 21-year-old kid with basically no money, thinking about how am I going to make it? And I was ready to quit. Came into the office, had my pager back in the day, the pitch book, sat it down, and my mentor looked at me and he said, Ben, what are you doing? I said, well, Greg, I love this company and what you guys have, and everybody's excited, but I'm not having any success. He said, Ben, let me tell you something. He was about 45 years old, been in sales his whole life. He said, let me tell you how this story's going to go. You're going to quit this job today, and you're going to go to another job, and you're going to quit that job, and then you're going to quit the next job. And then at some point in your life, you're going to meet a woman that you want to marry, and you're going to have a relationship, and something's going to happen, and you're going to quit that, and you're going to be called a quitter. I've been down this road. I've seen people every day come into my office that have been down that road. So you got a choice today. He said, pick up your shit, get out there, and go do the things that we taught you and trained you, and you can be successful. I believe in you. Believe in yourself. I said, Greg, you're right. I don't want to be a quitter. I picked up my stuff, and I went out there, and I focused on the things that they told me, taught me, and trained me. And I had success that day. I had success the following day, the following week. And I ended up making more money at 21 years old than I ever even thought were imaginable. And I've taken those same principles and tried to teach other people. When you're ready to quit, you got to think about being lost. And you felt like, I've been driving and driving and driving, and man, I must have passed this destination. And the reality was, you turned around when if you just would have went another mile, you would have arrived where you were supposed to be.
Every time, right?
And that's what it's about, man, is you can't give up. In sales, it's always the next door, the next customer. You know, I would play that mental game with myself when I'm driving home, and if I didn't make a sale that day, I would force myself to make one more stop. It's kind of like when you're fishing and you're getting ready to leave that fishing hole, and you're like, okay, man, one more cast. And that's what you've got to do in sales. You got to be willing to take that extra step, you know, that extra degree. Turn the dial just a little bit more, and you're going to get to that place that you need to be.
I think that's great advice, and I think that if you're a salesperson out there, and we use the term consultant, right? I believe there are hunters and there are farmers. A lot of our energy consultants, there is some sales aspect to it. They have to get into the door. The customer fills out a form, we qualify them, we send them out for an appointment. So they have to get into the door. That's the sales part. Then the rest of it is almost educational, right? And so whether you're in sales or you're a consultant, however you want to look at it, you have to know your audience. You have to listen. You can't always overtalk. You do got to have control of the conversation, you'd agree?
Yeah.
And you got to have control of the meeting. But you got to listen, and you got to look for things, and you've got to know the audience. Sometimes there's a place to be pushy. Sometimes there's a place where people are like, I'm not going to be sold today. Then you don't want to sell them. You want to ask them questions. You want them to sell themselves. I believe every time you get into an appointment, it's like a battle, right? They've got their guards up, and they're like, you ain't beating me. This is my home. And you have to find a way to make that guard come down. You have to build trust. You have to make a friend. You don't have to be too pushy. A lot of people think sales, you got to be really pushy and super aggressive. I think there's some of that, but there's a lot of understanding and believing in something. And if you just educate somebody and show them some of the light, I think you'll do a better job. Would you agree?
The top sales reps that we've been around our whole career, doesn't matter what industry it's been, there's been one thing they've been really, really good at, and that's asking questions. Instead of telling, you've got to ask. The more you can ask questions from the customer, the more you're engaging them. Look, God gave us 2 of these and 1 of these for a reason.
Amen to that.
Right? You need to double the time you're listening than you are talking. And the more you listen and ask questions, the customer will tell you exactly.
This is what happens is they keep talking.
That's right. Keeps coming down. And they'll tell you exactly what you need to know to get them to the finish line. So ask more questions. Ask questions about what prompted them to have you come out there, what has their interest in your product or service. Ask them, hey, if you were to use my product, how would it work? How would you feel? All of those things gets them to the point where their guard is down, and now it just makes sense that they do business with you.
I love that, and I don't think we teach enough of that to everybody out there. I mean, we do internally, we do a great job, we've got a great team, but I think, like, even to my kids, and you've got kids, and Kevin, a lot of our leaders here have children where they get nervous when they go to do something. And you're right, we've got 2 ears and 1 mouth. Any aspect you're selling, if you're at a register and you're checking someone out, they're going to try to get you to, hey, you want the Target credit card? You're selling, right? You have got to be engaged and be able to communicate with people and listen and talk to them. I think that's great stuff. So what I would like to do is also, you wrote a book.
Yep.
So if you could tell the listeners and viewers out there about your book.
Sure.
And about how they can also follow you. And then I obviously want to have you on here a lot more because this is fun and this is very beneficial to people.
Yeah.
So go ahead and talk about your
Absolutely.
book.
So, look, I had a goal that I wanted to write a book. I actually wanted to write a children's book. And because I have 5 kids, beautiful wife, 5 kids, been blessed. And so I always wanted to write a children's book. And I went to a Grant Cardone sales boot camp. And this has been 3 years ago. Been to several of them. But this was the first one. And in Grant's conversation, his whole message was stop talking about it and go do it. Whatever it is in your life that you're holding back, something that you really want to do, go do it. So on the plane ride home from Miami to Raleigh, with my wife sitting next to me, I wrote a children's book, and it's called Things My Daddy Says. But that led me to write a personal development book, where I wanted to kind of share, my stories and some successes that I've had, successes that other people that I've been around that have, been competitors or worked with me or mentors, just share some of those things to allow people to have more success in their life. And so the book is called Success Hurricane: How to Achieve Success at a Category 5 level. And I always tell people, look, become the hurricane that they name success, right? Because when you think about hurricane, you think about, disaster, and you think about this big force, but you can turn those things around into a positive metaphor where, you're a disruptor in your business, right? And this huge force is you and the success that you have in this big team that you build. So it's called Success Hurricane, How to Achieve Success at a Category 5 level. Get it on Amazon. It's also an Audible book as well. Same thing with the children's book, which I think you would really enjoy if you have kids. And, speaking of kids, I believe that, family is important for all of us. So for those of you that have families, you might be able to relate. And for those of you that don't, I hope you do at some point in time. Finding that right person in your life and having kids, it will just change your whole outlook. But one of the things I want to share is positivity in everything you do, not only in your business, but in your family. One thing that we do at the dinner table every time we have our family together, which has been every day here for the past couple months, is we go around and we say, it's time to share your good news of the day. Like, what happened in your life today that was great?
That's awesome.
And so we all go around the table and we share our good news. And I just want to encourage everybody, share your good news. You got good stuff going on in your life. Share it with somebody. Call that friend you haven't talked to, your parents, whoever it may be, and share some good news. Because when you do, what's it always do? Makes you smile, man. Right. And we all need to smile and share that good news more.
That's great advice. I mean, and I'm going to have to steal that and do that at home. We've got a thing on birthdays where we all sit around and have to say something nice. I think you've been to a couple of the birthday dinners.
Which is really cool.
Yeah. But that's a great idea because you're right. Every night, since this has happened, we're having dinner as a family, which is great because before then, I'm working. I mean, people are busy.
Yeah.
So this is a time to really bond together, and we're all in this together, all of us. This isn't a me and Ben thing. This is an everybody thing, and this is great advice. Ben's got 5 kids. I've got 4. He's got 5.
Category 5.
That's
baby.
right, baby. So he's got it. And, he's a great father and a great husband, a great entrepreneur, a great business partner and friend. And so anytime that we can bounce things off each other and make each other better, it's great. But I'm going to steal that. Hopefully you guys do too. Kiss the ones that you love most. Hug them at night. If you're religious, pray with them at night. Make sure that you spend those times in this uncertain time enjoying and talking about moments of what was good today, because we all need to smile more. And we have been blessed, and our employees are blessed. We've got a great workforce and a great leadership team, and hopefully the sky's the limit. But Ben and I just want to give shout outs and pray for all of you guys to get healthy, stay healthy, bounce back, and use this time to better yourself, to come up with a map. You're responsible for your map, nobody else. You get to write it. Start working on it now before we can go out there. Good with that?
Hey, and I just want to say, man, dude, I'm proud of you. Like what you've done, what you've built, giving back for folks like this. This is awesome, man.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Congratulations,
Love you, man.
love you too, man.
Bam!
Bam!
True underdog. Unleash the power within.
Building a movement, baby.